Hi, this is JJ with another episode of the Warehouse Whiteboard. I'm in the warehouse here in front of the whiteboard today with a little bit of evidence of what we were working on last night in our student ministry. And the big question we asked last night is, what motivates you? What are the things that drive you forward, that drive you either to persevere on, rainy Monday mornings when it's hard to get out of bed, or maybe those things that drive you to excel in different activities. And so we've got all sorts of different things that the students added to the whiteboard last night that might be motivating them, whether it's fear of failure or the moment of success that we love or the expectations of others. All sorts of great conversation around that piece of what motivates you. And there's a lot of great self-examination happening as we consider those motivations. But as I was thinking about motivations both last night and then while I'm recording this video, I was thinking about bigger, sort of picture things and bigger things in this end of the basketball season time of year. And I'm, originally from Illinois, so basketball begins and ends with the Chicago Bulls for me. And I was thinking about the great player Michael Jordan, and what was it that motivated Jordan to be so great at what he did. And as much as folks put him on a pedestal, a lot of what motivated Jordan was taking things personal. Was maybe a little bit of an element of revenge of someone who didn't respect him enough or defer to him enough, and he took it personal to sort of take it to him and really, go after him the next game around whenever he played them. And then maybe a contemporary example would be LeBron James. What is it that motivates LeBron James? And I don't know him personally. I don't have a window into his head, but I bet you there's a lot of it of the comparison to Jordan that he sees all the time. Who's the greatest ever? And people always have that conversation. And I'm sure that comparison motivates LeBron forward and pushes him to be even better. But last night we actually talked about another basketball player from the WNBA, and her name is Maya Moore. And she is apparently one of the top 10 players in the history of the league. She was an amazing player. But I heard this story last night from one of our students, how at the peak of her career, she stepped away from basketball completely because she found something else that was a greater motivator for her, a greater cause that she wanted to pursue. And that was the cause of someone who'd been unjustly imprisoned, who had spent more than 2 decades in prison for a crime they didn't commit. And Maya Moore stepped away from a lucrative basketball career to help right this wrong with this person who'd been wrongly imprisoned. What a great display of a major shift in motivations, how she decided to put this other person's needs above her own, their agenda, their priorities above her own, which is exactly what we're talking about this month in our student ministries, placing others first. So between the different stories from basketball and the different things that our students put up here, there's a wide range of motivations that we can have. But then we ask the questions, what motivations, should we have? And that brought us back to our passage in Philippians. Chapter 2, verses 2 and 3. It says, "Make my joy complete. Be of the same mind, having the same love, being in full accord and of one mind, and do nothing from selfish ambition or conceit, but in humility regard others as better than yourselves." So being of that same mind of Christ, being motivated by that same love, that sort of shift changes things for us. And we asked the question, how? How does that change things for you? When the students left last night, some of them we asked, how is that going to make a difference to you tomorrow in school, tomorrow at home? It's a lot of the application that we try to build in every week of what do we do with this stuff that we're studying in Scripture. And so one of the encouragements that we left the students with was this. When you walk into a room, sort of project yourself or imagine that room that you're going to walk into tomorrow. Picture the people that are going to be in that specific room at that specific moment. You know something about these people. Maybe they're longtime friends, maybe they're brief acquaintances, but you might know something about what's going on in their lives. Rather than walking into the room and telling everybody what's going on with you and telling them what you want to accomplish and what you've got on your mind, stop for just a moment. Look around that room. Take in the presence of those other people that are in that room. What's important to those folks at this moment? What things are they dealing with? what joys or struggles might be present in their lives. And so in that brief glance around the room, you take in those people, understand a little bit about them, and ask, where can I help? So it's just a moment of shifting our brains when we walk into a room, of changing our motivations, making sure that the first thing we think of when we walk into a room is to make sure I'm heard. I want to make sure I'm heard and people know what's going on with me. That's not it. Stop. Look around that room and ask, how can I help? And so with that in mind, our hope and prayer is that not just our students, but anybody that watches this video is considering others first. Being of that same mind, that same love of Christ, and doing nothing out of selfish ambition or conceit, as we all work to consider others first. So that's what we're talking about in Warehouse. I hope that is a great food for thought for you and your family. So sit around that dinner table and hammer this stuff out, and let's put it to practice. Let's make sure that Scripture is not just something we read, we take in, and we walk away from, but it permeates all of who we are, all of how we think, and all of what we do. So be of the same mind of Christ, doing nothing out of selfish ambition or conceit, and let's see how we can change the world together. This has been JJ with the Warehouse Whiteboard, and I will see you next time.